So I finally got the Super Duty back, and we got some answers as to why the courtesy lights would not come on. You remember that video from a couple weeks ago, I guess? When I would open a door, the lights wouldn't come on inside. I tried everything I could think of, you know. Just to recap, I fooled with the buttons inside the cab, checked all the fuses, checked all the door switches, checked all the settings in the computer with 4Scan software. Went through everything I could think of. I even went back into the back of the truck and checked all the wiring back there because a couple of guys said, you know, to check that. So I did everything I could, and I could not figure out why it seemed like everything on this truck works except the courtesy lights. Very strange. So anyway, long story short, I took it to the dealership, finally gave up and took it to the dealer. They had the truck for 4 days doing diagnosis on it and finally determined that the problem was in the body control module. So they replaced the BCM and reprogrammed the whole truck, and now everything works normally. When I open a door now, the courtesy lights come on like they're supposed to, which is fantastic in the middle of winter when it seems like it's dark all the time. It's dark when I leave for work. It's dark shortly after I get home from work. It's always dark, right? So nice to have the courtesy lights working again. So if you've got any kind of weird electrical gremlins going on with your Ford truck, you might want to check the body control module. From what I understand, talking to other people, the BCMs are notorious for causing problems on not only the Super Duties, but also the F-150s, and a wide range of model years have lots of problems. So the BCM seems to be a notorious culprit for weird electrical stuff. So just FYI on that. But thankfully they covered that under my extended warranty. I bought a warranty when I bought this truck used, and it came through for me today, because can you imagine what a week's worth of diagnosis and labor and electrical parts and all that, can you imagine what that would cost if you had to pay that out of pocket? Ouch. So gave them a $200 deductible and they covered everything else, and now I'm good to go. So let me show you something cool that I'm going to play with a little bit this morning. So I don't know if you've seen these already or not, but this is something that if you've got a heavy duty truck like a Super Duty or a Ram HD or even a Jeep Gladiator or a Jeep Wrangler, something like that, this is something that can save you some money in the long run. So basically what this is an alignment tool. You know, on these solid axle 4x4s, there's really no adjustment for the caster or the camber. Now there are ways that you can do some minor adjustment. You know, you can get in there and put shims in there. They've got offset ball joints that they sell and stuff like that. You know, but that's getting kind of involved. Most people don't ever fool with the caster or the camber. Really, the only alignment setting that you can, you know, adjust is the toe. And that makes a pretty big deal, you know, as far as how the truck will handle, how it steers, how your tires will wear over time. You know, the toe is a big deal. But that's really the only thing you can adjust for the most part, you know, on a vehicle like this. So the thing is, if you go to a shop these days, you know, for the longest time, the shops around here would charge 60 or 70 bucks to do an alignment. But the last time I had an alignment done, they charged me $140. Just like everything else in this economy, alignments have doubled in price. So it's getting pretty expensive. You can buy something like this, and there's lots of different companies that make these. You know, just browse around online, you can find several companies making these, but you can buy something like this online for 40 or 50 bucks, and it'll last you. You know, these are made out of steel, so it'll last you the rest of your life, and you can use this to do your own toe alignment at home. Now, it might not get it perfect down to the 1,000th of an inch, you know, but then again, there's actually a lot of variables in here. So even if you go to a shop and they put it on their machine, sometimes they're still not going to get it perfect. With this, you can get it within 1/8 of an inch, and really, that's all you need. So basically, you just put these on the rotors after you get your wheels and tires off. I got the front end on jack stands, and basically, you're just going to take these and put them on the rotors on both sides, and I'll show you how that works. All right, so essentially what you do is you just put them onto your lug studs, and you know, you can check when you purchase these, the manufacturer should tell you which bolt patterns this will fit. But the way that it's machined, it should go on just about every truck or car or Jeep out there. So you're just going to bolt it onto the bottom like that. We did the same thing on the other side, obviously. And so what this does is it gives you a consistent platform to measure from. So you can see this notch in the back and this notch in the front, and you're going to use the same tape measure just to eliminate any possible minute errors. And you're going to take your measurements front and rear. And you know, like I said, this will allow you to get it really, really close. I think that with this, you can get your toe set so close that you'll probably never even notice, you know, any difference at all between doing it this way and, say, going to a shop. So once you get that bolted on, I'm going to take a level and I'm going to set it on here, and I'm going to get these perfectly level with the ground on both sides, and then we'll stick the tape measure in here and get some measurements. So now that I have it bolted onto both sides, and I've got the brackets here leveled up with the driveway on both sides, now I can just take this tape measure in here and I can get some measurements. So I'll reach over here, and the cool thing about this also is that you can do this by yourself. You don't have to have a helper. So you just lay your tape measure in there. So I can see right here I've got, so it looks like I've got about 75 and like 7/16 roughly. So then I'll take it and put it on the back. A little bit harder on this truck because you got to get underneath of these control arms. So I got to get way down here low so I can snake it underneath of them. There we go. And back here, I'm exactly the same. About 7/16, 75 and around 7/16. Wow. So this truck is dialed in perfectly neutral already. There is a, you know, if you put this on an alignment machine right now, it would be pretty close to a 0 degree setting there. So some people say that they like to have it towed in about 1/8 of an inch. Some people tell you to shoot for as neutral as you can get it, which obviously would be, you know, the same measurement exactly front and back. You know, people have different opinions on this, but I think on a truck like this, you're shooting for really, really close to neutral. I mean, 1/8 of an inch, honestly, is not much, guys. I mean, everybody knows that. 1/8 of an inch is not much. You know, you're not really going to add a whole bunch of tire wear if you have it off 1/8 of an inch. So this one, I just checked it, and I have it set perfectly neutral. You remember when I did that, what I call redneck alignment on this truck last month? I didn't have these tools yet, and I just took the best measurements I could on the front and the back of the tire and did this. Well, now that I've got this tool, I was able to check it, and it looks like I'm dialed in perfectly. Exact same measurement front and rear. So now I know this truck is good to go, and I don't have to worry about, you know, wearing my tires out prematurely. But I just wanted to show you this tool. It's really cool. Like I said, you can buy these for like 40 or 50 bucks, and it's well worth it because the first time you use these, you're going to save money. You know, you're putting money back in your pocket first time you use this thing. And then in the future, you could use this on your UTV. You could use this on your Jeep. You know, technically you could use this on an independent front suspension vehicle like a car or something like that. You know, so this is really, really cool. Nice little tool here. You know, in principle, this is very simple. If you were really crafty, you could make something like this at home. But for 40 or 50 bucks, it's nice to go ahead and buy something like this because, you know, they've got the right tooling to precision cut this thing so that it's perfect. You know, you don't want to have any waves in your material or anything like that. So I like it. I like it a lot.